Hey guys, Deslater Magic here, and I was going to make this video a little bit differently, but then when I started researching it, I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to take a step back and make this completely differently than what I first intended. So I was going to look at what cards are going up, what's trending, what beats what on Arena, what beats what on X-Mage, what people are playing, because, I mean, honestly, you can't really base it on Arena. On Arena, nobody's playing Settle the Records or Treasure Map because nobody has 4 rare wild cards. And playing Is It Without Treasures is a little weird. It's doable, but it's a little weird to me. Well, according to the completely inaccurate Star City Games Open, where everybody just builds something they think is okay, they have no concept of the meta, they don't build for the meta because there is no meta, and then just some crazy crap happens and then changes the next week. But according to those results, you can legitimately get away with just about anything at this point, and that's really the point of this video. Everybody's looking up on the internet, what's good to build, because right now you're looking at, well, hell, I could build red-green dinosaurs if I wanted, I could build, white-black vampires, you can go as old as you want. But you really don't want to spend the time, the money, the effort, all that stuff in building a deck that's just going to get obliterated by whatever's popular. So some people will wait for the Pro Tour, look at what wins, copy the top deck, and then play that. And most of those people have some kind of mental problem. Some kind of unhealthy need to win and no fun allowed. You know the type. And then other people, they want to know what's popular so that they know if their deck idea is a good match for it. Because remember, there's a difference here between building a good deck and building a deck that will win. I mean, you might think, of course those are the same thing. No. And this is a wonderful time to remind you, you don't have to beat what's in the meta, as people call it. You don't have to beat everything from the top 64 at the Pro Tour. You have to beat what people you're playing against are playing. So look around at F&M this weekend, and whatever they're playing, that's what you gotta beat. I mean, don't say, okay, the 2 top decks are Golgari and Dimir, which that's not true. So I'm building a deck that can beat them because that's the meta, and then you show up and everybody's playing like green-red dinosaurs. Applying the MTGO worldwide meta to your FNM, not good unless there's 100 people there and they're all net deckers. I mean, maybe that's your scene. I don't know. So just keep in mind, you don't have to beat the meta, you have to beat your local meta. That's really important. Unless you play on MTGO or whatever. So and if you play on Arena, you ever notice that people aren't playing with certain cards because they don't have enough wild cards? Not the best way to measure it. It's a little bit weighted in favor of the free decks that you get. So if you don't want to put all the time and effort and money and everything into a deck and then have it be, really good, because you probably know what you're doing when it comes to deck building, but you do actually want to win with it, what do you do? And everybody's asking me, they're asking everybody else, they're looking on social media. Anybody who's like, here's a powerful deck tech, boom, automatically 10 times the normal views that they get. It's not that people absolutely are stupid sheep, can't think for themselves, and need to have somebody else tell them what to build. I mean, there's people like that, duh. But majority, it's just people want to build something that's at least vaguely good, at least tier 2. So like I said, you can listen to some blowhard idiot on social media or YouTube where they constantly say, this is good, look at this. This is good, look at this. Half the time they don't know what they're talking about, and the other half they're trying to manipulate you to sell cards or make cards go up. I mean, there's people out there just, what are the stupidest things I've heard? Probably that Lyra is good. I think we know who said that. I mean, literally, he looks at the MTG Goldfish stats and was like, some people brought this in some decks. Yes, a bunch of idiots on a team copied each other. Wonderful. It just happens to slot in. It's not hexproof. You can't protect it. The deck can't protect it. You got to cross your fingers and hope they don't blow it up. That's not durable. That's not going to last more than a couple weeks, okay? I mean, I've heard people outright saying, oh, you should put in Assassin's Trophy because it's good for like a turn 2, turn 3 removal. Yes, everybody knows the most powerful, the most important permanents come out in turn 3. And there are no consequences for giving your opponent another land in standard in a moderately slow, control-heavy meta and archetypes. No, that won't come back to bite you. No, you should definitely not pay 1 to 2 more mana and just run a better spell later and remove something more important. Oh, the stupidity, it burns. It really does. Well, then you got that dumbass blowhard British piece of crap Kenobi sitting there saying that he thinks that I said that it's unplayable in Modern. No. I mean, I've heard of people with reading comprehension problems, but video comprehension problems? I mean, was he deaf? He clearly just didn't watch the video. Just heard from a friend of a friend that I said something that I didn't say, so fuck off, Kenobi. Go back to your crappy no-sub channel and pretend that you know what you're talking about when it comes to Modern. So yeah, a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of people on Reddit, a lot of people on YouTube completely talking out their ass. So It's very hard to tell you what to do in a situation like this where there's so little information, but it is what it is. But I can definitely tell you what not to do, and it's listen to those people. Even the funny thing is, it's a lot of pro players. They're just tossing ideas out, and then half the time, whatever they're talking about, they don't even personally bring to the pro tour. Or even they know, but they're doing this for views and for retweets and for subs. They're telling you, oh, this is hot. Take my word for it. I'm a pro player. This is really hot. And maybe they're right, maybe they're not. I mean, I could put together 12 completely different decks that are all pretty hot. You know, they look good. They're synergistic. They're powerful. But I stopped short of telling people this is the #1 deck in the world because I already know it's not. You know how I know? Because it's been less than 2 weeks after the release. So what not to do when planning your deck is listen to people who tell you this is the best deck, trust me, because they're never correct. Even if they are, I mean, a broken clock's correct twice a day. And don't look at the MTG Goldfish stats from one tournament and pretend like, well, that's the meta forever. When has that ever been true? I mean, the Eldrazi invasion into Modern, I guess. I mean, if you look at that, you're like, whoa, look what just won. Yeah, that's because that was broken and they had to ban it. Little bit of a different circumstance. I guess maybe people are playing Energy. That was pretty durable. But as a whole, I mean, I always use the example. Red-White Vehicles won SCG Open, and then like 2 weeks later at the Pro Tour, it didn't win a damn thing. All you can tell from the stats are, for some reason, some team of people really likes Lyra, and a bunch of people brought some kind of interesting stuff and they all had different ideas and it all kind of worked. And that's the takeaway. If you look at like the top 32, there are some patterns there, but remember, these are teams. These are people who work together, plan together, and they're like, let's bring 10 people with the same deck and then we can boast about it if one of them makes it to like the top 16. Well, the other 90% of you didn't, so I guess the deck's not that great, although maybe it's pilot error, the person running the deck. So, I mean, you can't just look at that and be like, well, this is the best deck, this is the second best, that's the third best. I mean, you can get some ideas from it, but the idea that I got, just taking it all in as a whole, was you can build whatever the hell you want. So that's like the silver lining at the end of this video. Pure Golgari looks good, and people are swapping out cards or tightening it up. The deck lists are getting tighter, and I think once people get it down to this is as good as this deck is going to get, and then they bring that all to the Pro Tour, then you're going to see what is potentially the best deck. And even then, it's not the best deck in Standard, it's the best deck to beat what other people thought was the best deck and brought to the Pro Tour, which is not everything, by the way. That's why between one Pro Tour and the next Grand Prix, the decks can change highly, because now people know what to beat, and then they're like, well, okay, maybe I won't bring this, I'll bring this, and then it changes completely. Sometimes. Another good reason to not be a net decking douche who chases around the best deck. You'll drop $300 and then, oh, whoops, that deck's not relevant anymore. And from those people you always hear, oh, Standard's so expensive, it's too hard to keep up. Yeah, if you do that, it is, so don't do that. Right now, I mean, I thought that Selesnya was crap, but a lot of people did really, really well with Convoke token decks. I don't think that's durable with Plague Mirror and Chain Whirler. In fact, I think that color combination is pretty good, even though Rakdos isn't even released yet. People look at that deck and they should smell blood. They should be like, well, that's beatable. I mean, you guys don't know what losing Bantu's Last Reckoning did to the meta. There's no black board wipe right now. Not really. I mean, Ritual of Soot or whatever, And we even lost Fumigate, so it's like somebody saw a weakness, they brought it, but people are going to adapt to it. But at the end of the day, Selesnya tokens looks pretty damn playable. So I was partially wrong about that. I mean, it looked powerful. I just thought, oh, there's too much control. So I think I'm correct. I'm just looking too far ahead. But if you wanted to build it, people just proved you could win with it. Here, let me just fast forward. All the guilds are pretty good at beating each other with their primary mechanics. Duh, it's called playtesting. It's called they designed the set that way. Clear as day is it is the most powerful. I don't care if you got to splash another color or add Teferi or just, it's just is it. The whole idea of Jumpstart, the whole idea of counterspells draw and removal, that to me is still the strongest. It did so well at that tournament and it's only going to get worse. Or, well, better. Worse for us, better for the people playing it, whatever. But if you play pure Dimir with just surveil, control, removal, tons of black kill, there's a lot of black kill left over even after rotation here. Oh, it's spicy. And then you get the blue control, potential counterspells, then you get the draw, and the surveil is basically scry. So you'll always have the cards you need. That is powerful. If you wanted to play pure Dimir, you can do it. Oh, and plus, oh my god, River's Rebuke. Oh my god. You want to play Boros? It's fast. They got haste. I mean, Mentor works. Sure Strike, some of the new instant speed, one cost, boosty tricks in combat in white. Ooh, that's mean. Boros is very difficult to be beaten in the combat phase because that's what they do. They are combat specialists. pack it up with life gain and the limited removal of both colors, and you've got something. It's just, dialing it in, but it's very playable. I have won a lot with Mentor online. I think it's probably one of the weaker ones. So let's move on to Golgari. I mean, that looks pretty damn good too. A ramp color with a control color, very little scry or draw, but some, But then you've got the whole, I don't care if my creatures die and I'm going to block in the meantime. You buy yourself time, and then the more you're losing, the more powerful you get. That is very underrated as a mechanic. Well, I mean, literally the deck Death Shadow, but other than that, yeah, I think people grasp the concept from Death Shadow. But yeah, Golgari is no joke. It's got the control, it's got the creatures, it's got flood, and the big thing is that you basically doubled the potential cards because of Saproling, and there are on-death triggers. You combine that with, okay, I got something for them being out. I chump blocked, whatever, death touch, okay, cool. Did something in combat, then it died, I got a trigger, okay, I gain a life, they lose a life, whatever, draw a card, whatever you're gonna do, put a counter on something, whatever, and then it's in your graveyard and you get benefit from it again. Like that's just synergy for just playing the game. That's almost like devotion level synergy. It's like, oh, my deck is blue. Cool, I have synergy. So yeah, you can take down some threats or some scary cards. You got that insect flutter. I mean, you got the late game bombs. It's just nice. It was designed to be one of the major mechanics, and you can play it. And just to step back, I mean, Dimir and Golgari separately, don't even get me started on mixing them. That's crazy. What's like the default go-to deck if you just want to be safe? 8 to 12 control spells, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 drops and maybe a couple bombs. Real simple, just bread and butter, typical Magic. They do what they're doing, you do what you're doing, and then when you see what they're doing, you remove the most important parts of it, and then keep doing what you're doing and hope that you win. I mean, that's just Magic. That's about as vanilla as it gets, and it's always the tried and true kind of works strategy. Might not be the best deck in the world, but always guaranteed tier 2. Well, that's Dimir and Golgari. Dimir is very control heavy, a lot more, spells, but then you got the draw, you got the bombs. It's still similar. It's just a little bit more control heavy. It's as control heavy as you want it to be, though. And then Golgari, I mean, you got the little removal, little black spells, and then on top of it, you got your stuff building up. They both resemble that very, very typical deck style, and here's why it works. You look at the alternatives. Okay, blue-white, ultra control Teferi. Just wipe the board, blow it up, counter it. Doesn't matter what they're doing, you're going to undo it. It's like, 24 control spells and 8 draw spells and then some planeswalkers. I mean, it's all control. It's basically Approach of the Second Sun 2.0, where it was just, here's my win con, it's 4 cards, cool, the rest of the deck is control and scry draw. Well, I mean, it was working and it's still working right now, except if you slip up. I mean, it's just like running mono blue. If you slip up and let something out that you can't handle, you lose. I mean, if you don't have scaled creatures, you don't have a turn 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 threat, you're just trying to stop literally everything they do. If you let one creature or one planeswalker through and then you can't deal with it after the fact, you just lost the game. That's why all-in control doesn't tend to work, and they're very, cognizant of that when they're testing to not let that become a thing. Well, let's go with the no control, just ultra, not even blitz, not even rush. I don't want you to just think, oh, red rush, because honestly, that did have control. That was the point. But let's just say Boros Alt Mentor. Literally 0 removal, 0 lightning strikes, no shocks. It's just, woo, let's go. Let's run them over. Not only does that amplify the whole who went first in the game, because playing an entire turn behind when you're trying to just overwhelm them is really damn difficult. But if you have no control, no way at all in the entire deck to stop what your opponent is doing, you better be damn confident that you're running the best deck in the entire game. I mean, think about it. You run Alt Mentor. Let's just hit him with the army. Let's go. And then you go up against green, super ramp into giant, bomb stuff. You're probably going to lose. In my opinion, that's a better deck, and you're just going to lose in combat. The second they drop out a 5/5, you're in deep trouble. You can't exile it. You have to beat it in combat, and you've got a 3/2 mentor guy. Uh-oh. And then they drop out a 10/10. They drop out Steel Leaf 5/4, which can't be blocked by your smaller dudes, and then before you know it, you're way below 20 and you're dead. So in order to do just an all-in, I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm going to beat you on speed deck, like I said, you have to go first to win most of the time, and then your opponent playing any kind of control and then doing something a little bit more gradual is going to kill you, and then they might just have a better deck. You might be wrong about having built the best overall blitz strategy. All-in control and all-in central theme, tribal synergy, rush, whatever your gimmick is, all-in anything, not a good idea. So that's why Mentor right now is backed up by lightning strikes, sure strikes, you name it, the combat interrupters, anything. Golgari, you got your kill. Demir, you got your kill. Selesnya, I guess you could throw in some white removal if you really wanted. Pin down, who knows? Is it? Gee, do they have control? I don't know. And then, throw in some Enigma Drakes or whatever. Gutter Snipe, Electromancer, and that Crackling Douchebag. That's honestly all you need to win, and the rest could be control. I mean, there you go. You got your winners, you got your early game, a little bit of late game, and then you got your control. And the fact that their giant bombs and their creatures aren't even bombs, they all cost like less than 5, and then also they benefit from shutting your deck down, and the more that they cast spells, the more powerful their stuff gets. That's why Izzet is the most powerful. It's just clear as day to me. So don't be that guy. The moral of the story is not go build Izzet. It's go build whatever you got the cards for. Go build whatever's the cheapest. One deck's 100 and one deck's 20, but you're like, it's a toss up. Demir's actually pretty cheap right now. Izzet isn't. That one's going up. Except for Rel, he's sub 10. I'm not sure what's going on there. I would just say build anything that looks pretty good. Just keep the, ideas in mind about what to generally build in a deck, how to curve it out, that kind of stuff. Make sure it's a proper land ratio, just, deck building basics. And it seems like right now, almost no matter what you build, you'll probably win with it. Now, you might have noticed I was super biased towards Guilds of Ravnica. Now, don't fall for the whole it's newer so it's better thing. I mean, Amonkhet versus Energy? Like, really? Were you there for that? That wasn't a thing. That was one-sided. Ixalan versus Energy? No. Ooh, the shiny new thing. I want to play with the new cards. Well, you already have the old cards, and sometimes they're better. I mean, like I said, build red-green dinosaurs. It's still a pretty damn good deck. So are people getting a little bit too caught up in Guilds of Ravnica? They're too excited. It's new, but we're yet to see if it can really beat the old Ixalan and Dominarian M19 stuff. No. Honestly, I think in this case, an honest assessment of them as a whole, I think the best decks come primarily from Guilds of Ravnica, and they will be central around those themes. I think all the other sets right now are just onesie twosie, grab a couple cards out of them. But then again, I mean, Black-White Vampires and Black-White Knights is no joke right now. And you ramp into dinos, you still got red spells to zap people, and then you get enraged for combat, and then your creatures are bigger than theirs. Like I said, it's still viable, and that deck's like $20. So just build anything. There's no just blatant, oh my god, this took over standard. Like, for example, 2 weeks ago, where you're like, you play blue-white Teferi or some mixed 3-color, 4-color, at that point it doesn't even matter, or Red Rush. That's it. Nothing else could beat those decks. Nothing. And I have multiple tournament results to prove it, recurring over and over and over. Nobody could adapt to those decks because the damn decks couldn't be beaten. It was really that simple. And Scarab God. Fine, I'll throw it in. Scarab God. That just lost because it was a little bit slower. It was still overpowered as balls, don't get me wrong. So to finally answer the question of what should you build right now, anything good, you'll stand a chance, and then just be flexible, don't spend too much money, and just watch for any kind of trend. Watch for the big enemy to rise up, also known as Izzet, and then, work around that. Adapt your deck, mostly adapt your sideboard. I mean, that's really where you want to go to beat a specific deck. And just don't be afraid to try something. Don't wait for somebody to tell you what to build. I mean, that's what I hate about people. They're like, I don't know. And then they just stop showing up to FNM. Just freaking build something. Just build something obvious. Build one of the guilds and go with it. Hell, do what I do. Take whatever guild's the cheapest and build that one. It's probably still pretty good. I mean, it's like the golden saying. If I brought a $30 deck and won $40 worth of prizes in a couple weeks, and you brought a $300 deck and won $50 worth of prizes, who really won? I mean, let's be honest. Who actually won? You spent money, I made money. Oh, you won 10, 20% more than me. So, I mean, I walked out of FNM and went grocery shopping. I mean, who really won? Like, in the game of life, who actually won in this situation? Not everybody shares that philosophy, but some people hear it and they're like, you know what, you got a point. So if that's you, good for you. Now, there's one more thing I gotta throw in because I'm already doing this. Now's the time to build gimmicky, crazy crap, okay? When people have established it, people have worked into the high stuff, they know how to react, they know how to sideboard, everything's getting tight, the deck lists are getting more perfect. That's not the time you want to do some experimental, wacky left field crap. No, you want to do it now, not only because the cards are dirt cheap, probably, but also because nobody's prepared for it. Nobody's deck is perfect. They're probably 6 cards off from perfect on a good day. People are just trying it out, see what works. They're going to swap out cards between FNMs. The deck lists, even online, if that's where they're copying from, are going to change. If you want to do an all-colorless artifact deck, go for it. I mean, if you want to do an Artificer equipment deck, why the hell not? Lucky's actually building a white-red aura equipment deck. That actually kind of was a thing before rotation, so I mean, that's not that surprising, but it's out there. It wasn't exactly at the, MTG Goldfish top 10. I'm building white life gain because screw it, although mono white is kind of an archetype, but it's more angel heavy. It depends how you build it. It's not that out there. It's literally because I already have half the deck. You just take out the Crested Sunmares and put in something else. And honestly, that bird's better than Aerial Responder. I'm just going to throw that out there. I mean, it costs 1. And I've been winning with it, and I have never seen somebody playing mono white life gain, not even once on Arena. I guess I'm the only person. But don't build mill. I mean, have some dignity, have some self-respect, and some respect for the people around you. Nobody wants to get milled. Nobody wants to see your stupid mill control backbone garbage. And alternate win conditions just piss off, and 30 Planeswalker decks, yeah, we get it, you're rich. Just take it and shove it up your ass. So there are limits within civilized society on what you should build, but anything short of that, go for it. The moon's the limit, or the sun, star, what, I don't even remember what that saying is. I mean, the universe might be infinite. There really is no limit if you're just gonna fly up in a spaceship. I mean, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Oh, and if you saw my mono blue deck today on stream, you know what I'm talking about some weird gimmicky crap that's actually pretty damn good. Deck tech coming soon. So hopefully this video helped you out a lot if you're still confused about what to build, and if you're like me and you still haven't technically assembled it, and Friday's like 2 days from now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.